Once upon a time, in a quite little town, there lived an elderly woman named Mrs. Augustine, whose wisdom and warmth were admired by everyone around. She had seen generations of families grow and flourish in the town, and she was often sought after for her sage advice. One sunny afternoon, as Mrs. Augustine sat in the park, enjoying the gentle breeze, a curious teenage girl named Lily approached her with a hopeful smile. Lily was the eldest of 5 siblings, and she often found it challenging to get along with her brothers and sisters. They were always bickering over trivial matters, and the constant conflicts left Lily feeling isolated and frustrated. Knowing about Mrs. Augustine's reputation for being a wise counselor, Lily decided to seek her guidance.
Hello, dear, what brings you to the park today?
I need help, Mrs. Augustine. I don't know how to get along with my siblings. We argue all the time, and I feel like an outsider.
What usually causes the disagreements or conflicts?
They infringe on my privacy, entering my room without knocking, read my mails and also messages without my permission. They borrow my stuff without asking and also act selfishly or thoughtlessly or tries to run my life.
It's natural for siblings to have disagreements, my child, but to find harmony, you must first understand each other's perspectives. Take the time to listen and empathize with them, even if you don't agree with their views. Sibling conflicts are similar to pimples. An ugly sore is the visible sign of a pimple, but an underlying infection is what causes it. Similar to this, a nasty fight between siblings is frequently only the outward sign of a deeper problem. Squeezing a pimple could be an attempt to treat it. However, you would simply be treating the symptom, risking scarring or exacerbating the infection. Dealing with the virus and so averting subsequent outbreaks is a preferable strategy. When it comes to issues with siblings, it is comparable. You may move past the incident and directly to the source of the problem if you learn to recognize the underlying issue. You can also use the good counsel of King Solomon, who said, "The insight of a man certainly slows down his anger." Proverbs chapter 19 verse 11.
But how do I handle those moments when we're all so angry with each other?
In times of anger, take a deep breath and count to 10 before responding. Reacting impulsively only escalates the situation. Instead, try to communicate calmly and express your feelings without blame. Remember, you can't control their reactions, but you can choose how you respond. Also, learn to resolve or avoid conflicts. There are 6 steps you should follow. 1. Agree to some rules. Think about the things you said that led to friction between you and your sibling. Try to come up with some guidelines that both of you can live by and that take care of the underlying problem jointly. For example, Rule 1 can be, always ask before taking an item that belongs to someone else. For instance, if you fight over belongings. Rule 2 might be, respect a sibling's right to say, "No, you can't use that item." When making these rules, think of Jesus' command, "All things, therefore, that you want men to do to you, you also must likewise do to them." Matthew chapter 7 verse 12. You can establish guidelines that you and your sibling can follow in this manner. Then make sure your parents are in agreement with your guidelines by checking with them.
Okay, I'll try to come up with the rules and check back with my parents if they approve of such rules.
That's splendid. The second step you should take is abide by the rules yourself. The Apostle Paul wrote, "Do you, however, the one teaching someone else, not teach yourself? You, the one preaching, do not steal, do you steal?" Romans chapter 2 verse 21. How do you put that idea into practice? For example, if you want your sibling to respect your privacy, you should also knock before entering his or her room or ask permission before reading their emails or text messages.
So I should practice what I preach. If I want my siblings to do as I say, or follow the rules, I should be the one taking the lead in following such rules.
Of course. I believe you're getting the point now.
Yes, I am.
That's good. The third step you should follow is, don't be quick to take offense. Why is that good advice? Because, as a Bible proverb states in Ecclesiastes chapter 7 verse 9, Only fools get angry quickly and hold a grudge. Life will be difficult for you if you are easily offended. Your siblings will undoubtedly say or do things that irritate you. But consider this, have I ever done anything similar to them before?
Oh, I'm getting it now.
Good. The fourth step is, forgive and forget. Serious problems need to be discussed and resolved. But must you call your sibling to account for every mistake he or she makes? I believe that's a no. We are not perfect, we are bound to make mistakes, we think differently and have different mindsets. So we should always be willing to forgive and forget when our siblings offends us.
I think I do hold grudges when I'm being offended. This most times leads to friction, quarrels and fights between me and my siblings. I need to learn to forgive and let go.
Please do learn to forgive and forget. Holding grudges isn't healthy. The fifth step is, involve your parents as arbitrators. Maybe your parents can help you and your sibling come to an agreement if you and them can't. Just keep in mind that it's a true sign of maturity when you can resolve a disagreement without consulting your parents.
I don't think I need to involve our parents. I should be mature enough to resolve issues with my siblings. But if it's beyond our control, then our parents can step in as arbitrators.
I am happy you are getting it. The sixth and last step is, appreciate your siblings' good qualities. Your siblings likely have qualities that you admire. Rather than obsess about your siblings' faults, why not find an opportunity to tell them what it is that you admire about them?
You think so?
Of course, I know so. You might not always have a close friend and a brother or sister. But if you continue putting up with one another, even when they give you legitimate cause for a complaint, your connection with your siblings will grow. Your irritation with your siblings will likely decrease if you follow this advice. You might even irritate them less.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Augustine. I'll do my best to follow the steps.
As the days passed, Lily began to apply Mrs. Augustine's advice. She approached her siblings with a newfound sense of patience and understanding. Whenever disagreements arose, Lily took a step back, calmed her emotions, and tried to see things from their point of view. She made an effort to be more open to compromise and sought common ground in their differences. One evening, Lily's younger sister, Emma, came to meet Mrs. Augustine with a surprised look on her face.
Mrs. Augustine, I don't know what magic you've worked on Lily, but she's been so understanding lately. We used to fight all the time, but now, it's like we've found a way to connect. It's not magic, my dear. It's the power of empathy and genuine communication. Your sister has learned that when we try to understand each other, bridges of love and respect are built.
Lily's relationship with her siblings started to improve significantly. They began to recognize her efforts to bridge the gaps and reciprocated with their own attempts to understand and empathize. The once bickering household now resonated with laughter and love. As time went on, Mrs. Augustine continued to mentor Lily, providing her with guidance on handling different situations and navigating the complexities of family dynamics. Their bond grew strong, and Mrs. Augustine felt a sense of fulfillment in helping the younger generation find harmony and peace within their hearts. And so, the elderly woman and the teenage girl formed a beautiful friendship that would be cherished for years to come. Through Mrs. Augustine's wisdom, Lily learned the importance of patience, empathy, and open communication, not just with her siblings, but with everyone in her life. The household, once again, witnessed the transformative power of understanding and compassion in nurturing strong and loving relationships.